Mouth was a ladies' man, saw himself as a modern Don Juan, put his bite on who it could. Bad is bad, not misunderstood.
I did it because I wanted to do a blues album. I'd always wanted to go back to it because when I was 17, the bands that I was in, we always played like Smokestack Lightning, Got Your Mojo Working, Big Boss Man, Who Do You Love, The Little Red Rooster, all those sort of songs. And I thought, I want to go back and do an album like that. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, I really should write it myself. And I started to write songs that were similar to that style. And I thought, hang on, this is blues and roots. Roots should be about what I grew up with, what my roots are. And then I saw a photo in the paper, which is the front cover of the album, that just spoke to me and said, write a song about me, son. Tell people I lived and breathed and I was an Australian.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. And I thought, well, that's right. Blues and roots for me is Australia, not America.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And 42 years since your first album.
Yeah.
30, yeah, these are big numbers. 33 years since your last chart success. And you are the poster boy for never giving up. There'd be so many musicians of your era that would be so disillusioned with the music industry at the moment, with all the reality TV and with everything that's going on. And that you've never given up, have you? You've never, you've never just...
Well, I never anticipated having chart success. I really didn't. I'm not, and I'm not being modest by saying that. I thought the most success that I might have on the charts would be I'd be lucky enough to write a song that someone from The Voice or X Factor might record it, or a young band might record it. But I didn't think that I would actually have success because they'd sort of, the chart people had sort of really written us out. So once I sort of was out of the eddy of it all, and once I'd had the success, I saw what it was that made it a success and why it did work. And a lot of artists of my ilk, and they've all been really inspired, which is great. All my mates are all in the studio doing albums at the moment.
Fantastic, because of this, they've seen what's happened.
Yes, and they've all really jumped, and they're doing things. And now I'm getting lots of letters and emails from blues bands, who have all of a sudden started to write about Australia.
Great.
And I think this is great. You know, there were people who already were delving into it, like Chris Wilson has written songs about Australia.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
But not a lot. And no one's done a whole sort of album with a theme to it. But I think what was happening, and what has been happening with a lot of the artists that have been successful in the past, and why they're not successful now, is they're following the Pied Piper. They're trying to write songs that are going to be played on radio.
Yeah.
And I decided to write an album that wasn't going to be played on radio. And I just thought, I want to write an album that I really believe in and what I like. And I don't care if anyone plays it or not. I want to do it, and I'll sell it at my shows to make some of the money back. So it was nothing to do with a commercial venture. It was just to do with a creative venture. It was something that I felt, and by going against the grain, and instead of doing a pop record or something like that, or trying to get something that you think someone might play, because I remember one of my old managers said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to do a blues album. And he said, why would you do something stupid like that?
Yeah.
I said, Jeff, you remember I started playing the blues. He said, but no one's interested in the blues. I said, lots of people are interested in the blues. And I said, I don't care if no one's interested in my type of blues. I just want to do it. And he said, sometimes I'll never understand you.
And now he says, what does
I
he...
remind him every time I see him.
All right, so let's talk about when it started. How long ago? So it was released late last year, around mid to late last year. When did the concept come in your head? How long has it been on the drawing board?
About a year before that, what happened, I'd started to write some blues songs, and I was a bit ambivalent to which way they were going. I'd written one song called Hot Chili Pepper or something, and things like that. And I thought these do sound American, and I hadn't thought about the Australian thing. I went to Sydney, and I saw a photo in the paper, and I thought, wow, this guy's talking to me. And I wrote a song about him, and that was Sharkmouth. Then I did 3 other tracks, which was Black Dog Blues, Big Red, and Les Darcy. And I thought, see if I can get some money, because it would cost me about $8,000 to do those 4. So I thought, I'll see if I can get some money to finish the other songs. So no one was interested. I went to every record company, and and I even offered my old publishing on Wings of an Eagle and Sweet Sweet Love. No one was interested. So I thought, damn it. So I let it sit for a while because I didn't have the money. Then finally, Mitch, who produced the album, he said, listen, let's just go into the studio and do it. I won't charge you studio fees. And he said, I won't charge you fees to play. And he said, I'll get the players again, and we'll cut budget everywhere and try and keep it as cheap as possible.
Fantastic.
And I said, okay, if you do that, I'll give you half the album, So
Wow.
I gave him half the album. And it worked out. And he was a great collaborator to work with, and it was fabulous. We had a great bass model as a band, Shannon Bourne, who was like...
The band is sensational.
He's incredible. And Adrian Violi is amazing.
And your guest, Chris Wilson, Reno Gay.
They were the guests, yeah. And what I did with them, I sort of rang... I remember when I rang Diesel, and I did it with all the rest. I said, I'd love you to play on that album. And they said, I'd love to do it. And I said, no, don't say that. I said, don't play on it because I'm asking you to.
Yeah.
I'll send you the tracks. If you don't think they're your style or you feel you want to be involved in it, I swear to you, I won't be offended. I will not be upset. It's fine. And that's how I did it. And every one of them said, this is really lovely. We'd love to do it. So it's been great.
We were just chatting. What stands out to me is the energy. You've got a great energy going on the album, and as I was saying it before, the vocals are mixed right out there, nice and clear. The lyric, the content comes through so clear, which is what you wanted, isn't it? You wanted the words to resonate.
Yeah, I wanted the words to resonate, and some of the stories are really specific, like Les Darcy, Squizzy, Farlap. They're really specific. The others some of them are a little bit more specific, and then others just broad brushstrokes, trying to capture a feeling of listlessness around 1929 when the stock market crashed and people were out of work, and because my grandmother lived to 93 and she would tell me all those stories. It was fantastic. I would sit and say to her, Nana, what was it like when you first came to Melbourne when you were 12 years old? And she'd paint these pictures for me, What was it like when you would go up Church Street, and see Squizzy Taylor standing on the corner? Because she would see him as a young woman, standing on the corner of Bridge Road and Church Street in Richmond.
Incredible.
Yeah, and she would talk about all those things, talk about the Great Depression when people were really broke, the banks locked all their doors and no one could get any money. She said it was just a horrible time. So all those things went around and around and around and around and around in my head.
It's true blues, isn't it? It is real blues. It's real
blues
Australian.
are your roots. Yeah. Blues are what you as a little child and what your parents experienced. That's your roots. So if I was Irish, I'd be singing about the potato famine and coming out here,
And you've captured it beautifully. You're back with Baz. You're listening to Blues on the Hill. My special guest is Russell Morris, and he's going to do one off the CD called Black Dog Blues. Tell us about this one, Russ. Tell us the story.
I remember this was one of the ones with the broad brushstrokes ones. I wanted to try and create a feeling of listlessness, out of work, the Depression era, almost like that movie, The Grapes of Wrath, that sort of thing. And I'd written the first 2 verses, and I had the middle section which went down, 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 to the mouth, down, down, down. And I ran into Jimmy. We were on the road, Jimmy Keys. I said, Jimmy, do you want to write a song on the blues album? Because Jimmy loves the blues. He's always been a big blues fan. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. And I said, all right, just write this bridge for me. And he came up with those great words, everything running into one another. Yeah, so that's how that came about.
All right, let's have a listen. We're okay.
Little honey's in the kitchen where she's cooking up a storm. No good brother knows out on the porch. Sister of mine, well, she's long overdue. And I'm in this back room with the black dog blues. Well, the car won't start, so it's sitting in the drive. So damn hot, well, I'm barely alive. I ain't got no beer, so I don't know what I'll do. 'Cause I'm in this back room with the black dog blues. I got the load down, spellbound, let down, unsound, underground, run down by the hellhound, black dog blues. I got the all pain, no gain, hard rain, no brain, insane, Novocaine, ball and chain, black dog blues. Well, someone's got it in for me, they're telling dirty lies. I don't ever listen, I got troubles up to my eyes. Sleeping in a concrete box, holes in my shoes. Walking in the rain with the black dog blues. I got the load down, spellbound, let down, unsound, underground, run down by the hellhound, black dog blues. I got the all pain, no gain, hard rain, no brain, insane, Novocaine, ball and chain, black dog blues. Well, the house is on fire and I'm burning inside. I ain't got no work 'cause I'm nowhere to find. Sitting here alone, I got nothing to do. 'Cause I'm in this back room with the black dog blues. Oh, think I scratch a while. Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, live blues, folks. Beautiful stuff. Thanks very much, Rice. Now